have a question before we start?
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead.
For a clarifying question.
Yes.
Was the petition granted based off of one of the particulars?
I
of the
can't tell you
affidavit?
because it wasn't my petition.
Okay.
So I don't know. It was granted.
Okay.
Okay. It was granted, and it was granted on 4/8/25 by Commissioner Keys Nunez. It was served on 5/16/2025. Okay. So, ma'am, you can proceed, and you have until 2:35. Go ahead.
Thank you. Your Honor, I'm going to go ahead and start with Exhibit 48. Exhibit 48, this is basically an email of me letting him know that where I was going to be with child. It just basically says for parental time, we do have to explain where we're going to be at. So this is the location, my phone number. He responded back the day after saying that it wasn't an Airbnb and to clarify where I was going to be at.
Can I ask you real quick a question?
Yeah.
You have a child. How many children do you have in common?
Just one.
One child. And what's the first name of the child?
Genesis.
Genesis.
Yes.
And how old is Genesis?
He's 4.
He's 4. And were you married or unmarried?
Unmarried.
And do you have family court orders?
Yes.
And you have family court orders in place about parenting time, legal decision making, and child support?
Yes.
Okay.
Your Honor, I included a copy.
Okay.
Of that.
And the child's not on the order of protection?
No.
Okay. And did you get your family court orders changed?
Modified, yes, ma'am.
You already have them modified based on this situation?
Yes.
Okay. Now please proceed.
Yeah, so it was regarding a family matter, but it still is included with the incident for incident 1. Exhibit 49 and 50, we'll start with 50. This is basically my Airbnb screenshot of the location of the address of where I was going to be at. I wasn't lying, for the time frame that I had my child. And this is just a screenshot of basically the host basically saying that I was a great guest. Now going all the way up to Exhibit 1, I did try to get footage of the incident of what happened because I parked across the street from his complex purposely to prevent any kind of mishap, and the car followed. We did the exchange, and then he had followed me across the street to Pedego Bikes, which is across the street from his complex. I requested footage. The only thing that they showed me was this man, because the only thing that they report is when you open up a door or someone's like standing directly outside. So they weren't able to get me footage of his car being in front of my where I had parked. But that was me trying to request the footage. 2 is basically going to show the police report, officer's name and their badge number. 3 is going to go ahead and be the phone call that I did to 911. And then 4 is going to be his vehicle that was parked literally right in front of where I had parked at, which was across from his complex. Now 5 is actually... Yeah, 5 is where, so it's stamp 231. This is exactly where I was at, where I had parked. You can see kind of where it says Pretty Girl on the side, but this is where I had parked in general to walk across to get my child, again, across from his complex. 28 and 29. This is just confirming again, this is his vehicle at his parents' house, and this is his vehicle at another child exchange. That confirms it was his vehicle that pulled up in front. I don't know what he yelled out the window, but it startled me that he even decided to follow me. Again, I know he didn't think I was at the Airbnb, because I don't know if he looked it up and tried to say that it wasn't an Airbnb, but I do have proof showing that that it was confirmed at an Airbnb. Going over to incident number 2. I'll just go. So Exhibit 8, I know I don't have a lot of time. Starts with the email thread. Now this is going to be with him and his counsel involved. He basically said that I was in violation of contempt of order. Now this was already threatening an empty legal action. He said that he was going to they were going to file a contempt of order that was in violation. And I just basically said, if you feel like I'm in violation, please go ahead and file against me. And they didn't. They just said that, if I was going to waste up the judge's time and the court's time. So that didn't happen. And then for 10, basically shows, he already, it's at the bottom. This is the teacher responding back with me an email saying basically at the bottom, I've already had my meeting with Drew. So there was no reason for him to even be there and try to request to be there in person with me. That harassment was uncalled for. I'm not sure why he needed to be there. But jumping over to the last incident, incident 3, this is the most important that I want to try to fly through. Starting with exhibit 9. This is the second threat and harassment towards contempt of order. Basically it starts with, parental time. A lot has to do with family court, but, parental time, I said I was going to use my parental time April 4th through April 6th. And then I ended up changing the address of where I was at. I'm a registered behavioral technician, so I have some clients that are in different areas. So I booked an Airbnb that was closer to my client at that time. He said I was in a violation of court order. He wanted to know who my life partner was. He wanted to know where we were going to stay at, and that it was going to be he was deeply concerned and needs to know the right of where, all of that. And I just said, I encourage you to follow contempt of order because this is the second time that you've threatened me with an empty threat of legal action, and you've not done it. Either do it or not. And then he was just like, yeah, that's exactly my point. You're not going to adhere. You're lucky that we have court, which was April 29th, not too long ago. And no need to waste the court's time. So again, just an empty threat that literally caused me a lot of stress and anxiety for no reason. I don't know why he even brought it up. And I just wanted to confirm again that you did threaten me a second time for contempt of order, and you yet failed to carry it out. Now, in Exhibit 30, again, I have proof. This is where I was at. I wasn't under a roof with multiple people. This is a guest house for an Airbnb stamped in Phoenix. That was the address that I showed. Exhibit 31. This is, again, shows guest house. This is the exact address that I showed in the email that I was going to be at. Exhibit 32. Now, he picked him up at 6. We have pick up and drop off at 6. For him, he picks him up. This is the same day, stamped April 6th. I had to be admitted to the ER. He stressed me out so much. My levels went increasingly high. As you can tell, I am pregnant, very pregnant. It's stamped at 805, 140 over 79. The doctors were like, why are you so stressed out? What's going on? And I tried to explain to them, I just have a co-parent that is being unreasonable, all of that, but they were very concerned. This is just stamping April 6th. This was not too long ago after. Like, I'm telling you, as soon as he picked him up, I headed right over to the ER. Just shows confirmation that I was there. And this is a Google search. This shows that I'm not lying, that 140 over 79 is extreme risk for both baby and mother. It's in a stage of hypertension as to where I was at, because my high blood pressure was so high, because I knew I wasn't in the wrong, but it's just the threat that was, I'm going to do this. And then I didn't know if he was actually going to do it this time, or if he was just, again, making an empty threat. It was too much, and I had to be under watch for both me and baby. For the next day, they watched my levels, but the next day, I just admitted myself in just to make sure that my levels were back down. They were, but April 7th, you can see the timestamp. I went literally right after work. It shows right here 4/7, so it was the day after the 6th that I did go back in just to make sure that me and baby were both okay. This is my name, so you can see that I'm not making it up. Banner Health. These are my levels of that time frame. 37. Again, showing you diagnostics that it was very high. And again, this is the day, April 6th, literally right after became a drop off of my levels of how high and extreme they were. This is what is relevant to this case. Now, I do have others. I'm not going to run through them. I want to know how much more time do I have? 2 more minutes, right?
You have 5 minutes.
5 more minutes? Okay. This is what is relevant to these incidents here. The most one though is this last one, this incident for 3. There's no reason for me and my baby to be in critical condition or even under watch for so long from doctors after doing a child in exchange and after threats from him, and then he not even carry through with it. So these are the most relevant to this.
Thanks. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. You're fine. So these are the most ones that I would like to go ahead and have entered and just shown at this time, and then at the last I'll
Tell me what you want to show.
the ones that I just went all the ones that I went over.
You got to show them. You have 4 minutes left.
So exhibit 48, 49. Did you want me to show them as I go through?
You have to, if you want to show them to the court, that's what you need to do.
Okay, so 48, 49.
So are you just
Everything that I just went back over, yeah.
okay? I saw those as you were going through.
1.
And they've all been admitted.
Okay.
Okay.
2, 3, 4, 5, 28, 29. 28, 29. 8 and 10. 9. I don't know if 9. Yeah, 9's in there. 30.
So it's best if you tell me what each one, as you're saying the number, if you tell me what each one means for you. And I think you have done that.
Yes, it's okay. So 8 and 10, the one that I just did, those are for incident 2. And then for starting for incident 3 would be exhibit 9. Exhibit 9. I don't know if that one's in. Exhibit 30. 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38. Did I do 35? Yeah, 35. And again, this is just going to be for what is relevant to this case here. Those are the ones that I think I saw the green stamp on all of them. For exhibit 44, 45, and 46, I didn't actually go through those. These ones I really wasn't too worried about, but it just shows, I guess, proof for you, so you can see. So 44 is going to go ahead and be the order, just showing that I wasn't in violation of anything, so there was really no reason for a threat. I highlighted the most important parts.
I'm
Contempt
going
of
to
orders.
object to 44, ma'am.
So you're going to have your time. And then you can tell me on any of her exhibits or your exhibits what you'd like to say. And she has 2 minutes left.
Sure.
Okay. So 44 basically is showing the temporary order that we had during the incident time. So it is very relevant. And then I just want to make sure. I think I pretty much have covered my base.
Did you have anything?
For 43, oh, I'm so sorry.
Go ahead.
For 43, I know I actually spoke with a police officer today just to clarify if I should. They wanted me to give the incident report. I don't know if you look it up or not, but it would help. This is the incident report for him violating order that was already set in place for this. And again, that right there is going to be 43. Incident report 2025-789-813.
Which exhibit's that? 43?
Correct. So again, he's let alone has stressed me out, but the most one that I would love, I mean, to just have in consideration is going to be the incident 3 and the exhibits leading up to that one.
Okay, so ma'am, tell me what you believe happened in front of Judge McCarthy for when you had the evidentiary hearing on legal decision-making, parenting time, and child support. What's your understanding of what happened? Because that just happened, right?
April 29th?
Right.
Yes.
So what is your understanding of what happened?
So
What changed?
What changed in communication, or what do you mean?
What changed in the court orders?
So we got modified the communication because there was no way for us to actually communicate since the order of protection was in place. So he did put OFW, our family wizard, for us to go ahead and try to communicate through that way. That way we weren't going through third parties or through his lawyer. He was served May 15th to have that modified, I believe is what the officer said. Is May 15th it was officially modified.
And ma'am, did you just move back to Arizona?
Yes, ma'am.
And when did you move back?
I started my work at the beginning of January, so I was in the process in the beginning of January of coming back out to Arizona, January 6th.
Why does this say on or about May 9, 2025, mother moved to Texas to live with family?
What year was that?
On or about May 9, 2025, mother moved to Texas to live with family. Mother testified that she recently returned to reside in Phoenix.
No, I've been out here. If the judge is aware of that, starting January 6th is when I started working at Trump Behavioral Health, which is in Glendale.
Okay, sir, I'm just going to pause for a minute. I'm going to give you a full 15, but let me look at these orders.
Yes, ma'am.
And ma'am, why are you going to the Airbnbs?
In the process of relocating, I was still trying to find a spot as to where I was at, but working literally full time, it was just a lot, and I still wanted to see my son. So I still just saw him through Airbnbs. I would still just book them while I had my parental time, which was the first and third weekend of every month. And then I would have him have the visits there.
And where would you live when you're not at the Airbnb? Where
I would stay at long-term Airbnbs, or I would do hotels.
So why didn't you have them at your long-term Airbnb?
So I know I explained that in I think it was incident 2. If I have a in-home client that's closer to say Phoenix, my office is in Glendale. So if it's closer to Phoenix or Mesa or whatever, I'll like book an Airbnb so I can go into their home. It doesn't make sense, but my in-home clients that go into their house.
Tell me what kind of work you're doing in-home clients. What kind of?
I'm a registered behavioral technician. I just work with children on the spectrum. So I'll either go into their home and work with them one-on-one, or they'll come into the office. It's either or.
But you change your living location?
I did. Yep. I had at the time.
And why are you booking different Airbnbs for when you're seeing your child? What was the reason for that?
To have parental time.
Different. I know Airbnbs because you don't have a permanent residence, but why are you switching into different ones when you have your child?
I mean, to be very honest, every Airbnb is locked sometimes. So if I wanted to go back to the original one, it may or may not be available. I guess I'm confused as to what you're...
Okay, so let me tell you what I understand so far, okay? Is that you don't have a permanent residence here yet.
I didn't at the time. I was in the process of trying to relocate.
Okay. Do you have a permanent residence now?
I do, but right now I'm staying with a friend just because I'm about to give birth.
Okay. Permanent residence means have you signed a lease or bought a home?
It's not under my name, no.
So you don't have a permanent residence right now?
It's not under my name.
Okay. So you were renting Airbnbs as places to live?
Temporary, correct.
Okay. And then you would switch to a different Airbnb for the time that you had with your child?
Yep, either guest houses or casitas.
And the reason you were switching was what? Why weren't you using the original Airbnb that you were staying at?
I mean, to be very honest, I've looked back at some of them when I would try to go back and they were blocked or not available.
So why were you keep switching Airbnbs? My question isn't were they booked? My question is you have an Airbnb you're staying at. Mm-hmm. Yes? You have to say yes or no
Yes.
for my record. You're staying there.
Yes.
It's coming up close to a parenting time weekend.
Yes.
Why do you switch from this Airbnb to a different location? Why are you switching?
That makes sense. I mean, again, with my work, I switched with my work. So if I had a client in Phoenix or in Mesa or wherever, I would get closer to that. I know it doesn't make sense.
No, I hear what you're saying, except you told me you were switching when it came up to parenting time with your son.
For work. So incident 2, I believe that's when that came up. So I had already booked prior before. I think it was like, I don't know. Let me see.
It's okay. I'm reading this. You just
It sounds confusing now that you're saying it, but
okay. Are you still working with Phoenix Rescue Mission?
No. I'm what, Trumpet Behavioral Health.
You're
in
which
Glendale.
one?
Trumpet Behavioral Health in Glendale.
Trumpet?
Yes, ma'am.
Trumpet. That's where you're going.
That's where I work.
Oh, that's where you work. Okay. But were you working at Phoenix Rescue Mission or were you going there?
I was going there.
You were going there.
Yeah, that
You
was
weren't-
last year.
You weren't working there.
No.
Okay. So, okay. This living in an apartment, is this the one that you say that you're not on the lease?
So it's not okay. There's not a lease, if that makes sense. So I
No.
just stay there from month to month.
Well, how are you renting an apartment? How is that being rented?
You would pay in advance.
Okay, you pay it in advance, and who lives at the apartment?
I do.
And who else?
I do. Just me.
Okay, and how many rooms is the apartment?
It's 1.
Okay, so why does it say in here, and the child has his own room?
He does. That's his room. I'm in the front.
You're in the front where?
In the front, the living room. It turns out into a bed. The couch pulls out into a bed.
So when did you get that apartment? Just approximately. Tell me approximately when you got the apartment.
I want to say end of April or beginning of May. Literally not too long ago.
Since you've had that apartment, are you still going to Airbnbs to do your
No.
visitation?
No.
I'm going to ask Father a question. It's not your time, but I'm going to ask you a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Was there an order of protection in 2023?
Yes, Your Honor.
And did you request a hearing?
Yes, Your Honor.
And did the order of protection get dismissed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Have there been any other orders of protection?
Just this one, Your Honor.
Okay. Sir, do you have the final decision making if you cannot agree?
Yes, Your Honor. And he resides with me.
I read that. Did you agree to deviate down to 0 for child support?
No, ma'am.
Then how did you get to a deviation of 0?
The judge ordered it without any, and if I may add,
It's not a child support hearing, so
So-
I don't want to go into it, but,
he made the decision after the fact.
okay.
And he made this decision post our hearing. So we received this order, I believe, 7 or 10 days post our hearing. Which doesn't make any sense to me either.
Okay, hold on.
Sure.
I'm not questioning his orders, I'm just confirming them. Ma'am, did you understand after this hearing that Judge McCarthy denied your 3 motions for contempt?
It was a wash.
What's that mean, a wash? Mine says it is ordered mother's 3 motions for contempt are denied, and denied is in all caps. So that's not a wash, that means denied.
Denied and washed, yes.
What does washed mean?
Well, I turned off my phone. There in a page above it, it says it was washed due to, I think it was not a lot of evidence or something like that. It should be the page before.
No, that wasn't. That was related to domestic violence, I think. I read that he said it is a wash, but that doesn't mean your contempt, well, it's denied. I'll tell you what he said about a wash,
Okay.
which is a little bit of a weird word, but
If I may.
what page? Okay, it's element number 6. The court finds that this factor is a wash. Okay, that just means father has demonstrated that he's willing to allow frequent and meaningful contact between the child and the mother. Father previously took on the drop-off and pickup responsibilities. His mother was out of vehicle to honor the 5-2-2-5 schedule. This includes the 7 months mother was residing at Rescue Mission. The court finds that this factor is a wash. Okay.
Above it, it was for the motion of contempt as to what I don't have the papers in front of me, but that was the motion, well, one of them, motion of contempt.
Okay. So what I read for contempt is it is ordered mother's 3 motion for contempt are denied. Okay. If you have somewhere else to point me to
I don't have
it.
any paper. I don't have anything in front of me.
Okay.
I believe you though. I don't have anything in front of me.
All right. So for our record, I have reviewed the entirety of Judge McCarthy's minute entry in case FC 2021-091-284, and it was filed with the clerk of the court on May 6, 2025. Sir, what did you want to say? You have 15 minutes. It's 2:50. So
Yes,
you
ma'am.
have until 3:05.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. I'd like to direct the court's attention.
You don't have to stand. You can sit. It's easier for me if you sit too.
Particularly on the date of February 14th, there's an exhibit, if I may. The exhibit is on the top left-hand corner. It's RE 5th disclosure, 18 pages long. It's a pretty thick exhibit. It outlines my narrative of what happened, and I'll briefly describe what happened on February 14th. As Ms. Terrell pointed out, we do our exchanges at that time at my leasing office every Friday and Sunday, first and third weekends. There's never been any words spoken at our exchanges, and thus I have video of every exchange, which is on the thumb drive, as you can see in her exhibit. I have dash cams, I have video to protect myself from these wild allegations. Unfortunately, it didn't capture the incident that occurred in the parking lot, which there was none. So as of February 14th, our exchange went totally normal. She was there at 3:04 p.m. to pick up Genesis with her wagon, took Genesis, and away they went. I went back to my car. I realized that it was Valentine's Day and realized that I had failed to make plans with my fiance for our Valentine's Day dinner. And we live directly across the street from USA, which is the exhibit here, which is one of 8 pages, which is Google Street View of the proxemics. And literally on page 2 of 18, you could literally see how close I am from my apartment to where Miss Terrell was parked. So to say that I was stalking her when it is literally within 100 meters of my own doorstep, I'm hostage in my own place, apparently. But in any event, I was on the phone with ASA, which happens to be in that very same parking lot, as you can see on page 6 of 8 on those Google's aerial views. That is there in the same parking lot, or I'm sorry, page 7 of 8, rather. And I called the restaurant, was on hold for several minutes, because it was Valentine's Day weekend, checking on reservations. I waited on the hostess to return, and I thought to myself that after sitting in my car, which, by the way, I might add, I had not left my parking lot of my own apartment complex. So once my son was picked up from Ms. Terrell, they proceeded to walk away. I did not leave my parking lot. I sat there in my car at the roundabout in front of my leasing office on hold with ASO for approximately 10-15 minutes. When I realized that ASO was directly across the street, I just figured I might as well drive over and check the reservation, which is what I did. So I literally crossed the street in my car, and there's only one entrance to this parking lot, as you can see from the aerial view. So I was looking for a parking spot, and at that time, the hostess came back to the phone and said, yeah, unfortunately, we're not booking reservations. I could get you a reservation at our other location. I said, great. And at that time, right about that time, simultaneously, I saw Ms. Terrell getting into her U-Haul in her U-Haul with Genesis, my son. He was in the passenger seat. So I drove by, hung up the phone, or was trying to hang up the phone, and rolled down my window, and I yelled out to my son, love you, buddy, behave for mom. And to address Mrs. Terrell's Exhibit 4, I might add, if we could go back to that, Ms. Terrell stated that I was stopped. I never once stopped. Ms. Terrell doesn't have any video of me stopped. I've never stopped. I proceeded to turn around the north side of the parking lot to exit the parking lot. But as you can see on page 7, it's a dead end. I can't tell as I'm coming around this parking lot, but as I come around that parking lot, realize it's a dead end and the parking lot is absolutely packed with cars. I hurriedly backed my Camry out because I don't want to get boxed into that loading ramp, and had to kind of pivot out, do a 3-point turn to then exit. So I exited to leave the parking lot. As Ms. Terrell stated in her affidavit, she then followed me, which I thought was really bizarre, which again is on video on my thumb drive of her behind me driving quite aggressively in her U-Haul. So I started to record on my phone and proceed to 83rd Avenue. But what's really striking to me is from the time that Genesis was picked up by Ms. Terrell to when I made visual contact with Ms. Terrell, or Ms. Terrell made contact with me as evident in her timestamp photos, it's about 20 minutes. At what point can I leave my own apartment complex to go about my life? There is, as Ms. Terrell alleges, she doesn't know what was said. There's no allegation that what was said was even directed towards her. There's been no history of domestic violence in any way, shape, or form, as all of our exchanges are vigorously recorded and documented, as you can see. Unfortunately, Ms. Terrell has a problem with the truth, and a well-documented problem with the truth. And unfortunately, my concerns, I've tried to contact CPS in the past. I tried reaching out to our court-appointed advisor, which is the exhibit titled Urgent Concerns. That was titled to our court-appointed advisor at the time. That Ms. Terrell was stating that I was asking for her location as it pertains to not trusting her and where she was staying. As all of our court orders stated prior, I'm still Genesis's father. Ms. Terrell had a history of homelessness and in and out of residences, and there's plenty of times where my son was returned emaciated in not good condition, to put it lightly. So I had extreme concern about his safety, security, and whereabouts. I contacted CPS. There's an ongoing case right now. It's open. They haven't even been able to contact Ms. Terrell because of this protective order, and they don't have an address. I feel that Ms. Terrell is filing these protective orders as a shield to hide the fact that she's indeed homeless. She has been homeless. She remains homeless and has been weaponizing the court and the justice system in any way she can, because if it's known that she's indeed homeless, she will not get custody of Genesis. I've heard everything from I have a 2-story house to I have a 2-bedroom apartment to, but the fact of the matter is that according, my hunch has always been that Ms. Terrell's been living out of her U-Haul. And I feel that Ms. Terrell, simply put, parks across the street or did so because she was afraid that I would discover that she was living out of her U-Haul. There's no reason why you would park outside knowing that I videotape. You can see in her own exhibit, there's a dash cam video in my car, visible, in all the photos of my car, front, rear, and sides. That runs 24 hours a day. So, as it pertains to harassment, I did take the ability to give you the full email chain between the attorney, which is exhibit contempt of order, 1 of 4 pages. That is the entire email chain, and it starts with the oldest message at the back pertaining to Ms. Terrell's reaching out to Genesis's teacher. Simply put, as you can see, I just tried to simply ask for, hey, I want to be informed of any, visits with his teacher. You've been gone in Texas for up to a year at this point, have never spoken with any of his educators in any capacity. Now all of a sudden you want to get involved right in time for court on April 29th. So I kind of was cautious what's going on with it. And she basically circumvented me, and knowing that we had court less than a month away and she's already filed 3 contempt motions frivolously, again, weaponizing the court, as she's done again here today, me and counsel decided we'll address it there at the hearing. There's no sense in filing yet another motion. We'll consolidate there at the hearing. And thus, we actually filed a motion to consolidate this very hearing in front of the Honorable McCarthy, which Ms. Terrell denied. She told him straight up she did not want to. He offered to provide it to hear this case. Instead of taking yet another day off of work, spent over $130 to print out these documents, to present to the court to defend my name yet again. And I'm continuing to be harassed by Ms. Terrell through her weaponization of the courts, and that she's upset she didn't get her way with regards to the court order. We're seeing this ongoing with the message report, and through My Family Wizard. Ms. Terrell has yet to read a single correspondence through My Family Wizard that has been sent to her, and has actually reached out to me outside of My Family Wizard through my personal email in an effort to get me to circumvent the protective order that she put in place, to then bait me into responding so that she could file a violation of this order.
Can I interject or no?
No.
You have 5 minutes at the end.
Okay, thank you.
And you're
done.
going to 3:05, so you have 4 minutes left, and then you'll have the last 5.
With
Go ahead.
regards to the exhibits, you can see her weaponization of the police. As you can see, she has been ordered, or has been ordered to twice a week video visits. I am entitled to once, while she has them on Saturdays. I've tried to coordinate with Ms. Terrell video visits that are not 3 days a week or on the weekends, as it's inconvenient, quite frankly. Ms. Terrell, I believe, said verbatim comment, I will tell you when it changes, something to that effect. In which she didn't get her way, she still bullishly proceeded forward and calling to harass us more. And I, said, look, we're just going to default to Tuesdays and Thursdays, and that's what we're doing. So, I'm not going to put up these antics. That is exhibit video rejected 524. There's pages 1 and 2. There's her reaching out to counsel, which she's been notified now through My Family Wizard no less than 4 times that Jose Chaidez is no longer my counsel and has not been since the 29th. His services have been completed. But again, Ms. Terrell will not read, will not adhere to anything else other than what she wants, how she wants. As it pertains to the date in question, as for February 14th, and any time thereafter, Ms. Terrell, if she's so afraid for her life or physical being, my question then becomes, which I would love to show the video, you showed up completely by yourself at every subsequent pickup and drop off, unattended, by yourself. And no exchanges, no violence. You haven't made any allegation. You don't have, you didn't even allege me of saying a bad word to you or calling you a bad name, let alone threat of violence. The fact is that Ms. Terrell knows that because of my profession, this puts my job in jeopardy. So I'm forced to defend it. I could just let it ride, but my job has told me I have to get on this because my very livelihood is at stake. This is vindictive. This is weaponization. And I hereby ask that the court actually penalize Ms. Terrell and assess damages to me. I'm asking the court to award me $500 for 2 days of missed work. I work 10-hour shifts to make $30 an hour at USAA. I've missed 2 days of work plus $130 to print these documents out to defend my name yet again.
Okay, so sir, regarding that request, if you want to put in a motion, you can put in a motion, but it'll have to be with an affidavit, what we call a China doll. I know you know how to do that because I read that you already asked for that in McCarthy's case, right?
I believe the counsel did, so I don't have legal counsel, but I'll figure it out.
Okay, so I'm not going to do anything today,
Sure.
but if you want to write in a motion for that, you're going to have to provide documentation. I'm not saying I'm granting it, but I'm saying that I'll look at it, and then, ma'am, you'll have a chance to
My
respond.
last statement, if I may.
Yes.
I believe that this, as I stated before, it is weaponization of the court, and it's just vindictive. There's there's nothing to it. There's no allegation of violence or threat of violence. I don't know what I'm defending today. Other than
Well,
an
you
angry
do know
mother.
what you're defending. You're
Well,
defending against this, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So you know exactly what you're
Well,
defending against.
Specifically, I don't know. Okay, thank you. That is
So
all.
I just want to make sure I understand what you're saying, okay, based on these allegations, is that you're saying the incident where she's saying you were harassing her, you delivered the child, you had an exchange with the child, she left with the child in the wagon, you stayed in the front of your complex, you drove across the street to go to OSO to look at what their reservation situation was, and was she over there with the child? Was she close to there with the child?
Yes, Your Honor, about 15 to 20 minutes after she took him.
Okay, but how close? She was over there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you called out of the car to your child.
I called out,
and then,
yes.
And was there anything else, in your opinion, that happened?
No, ma'am. As a matter of fact, I didn't even stop my car.
Okay, I'm just saying. So that was one of the incidents, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And then she's alleging that the other harassment was that you said you were going to file action in court to resolve legal decision-making, parenting time, and child support. Does that sound right? Those are the other allegations.
The allegation was that I was found in contempt of court, which we hadn't even had a hearing on.
Okay.
So obviously I was not found in contempt of court, as you pointed out. We hadn't had a hearing. Being granted a hearing does not mean you're guilty of, or else what does our world come to?
Okay. And when you said we need to go back to court to resolve these issues, were you threatening her, or were you advising her that if there were issues regarding exchanges and or parenting time and or legal decision making, it was going to need to be resolved by the court?
Would you mind? That was kind of a comment. Would you mind clarifying?
So you told her you were going to go back to court to
Yes,
resolve
ma'am.
some issues.
Yes,
What
ma'am.
was your intention of saying that? Why did you say that?
So my intention was to try to get some cooperation with Miss Terrell.
Why did you tell her I'm going to take you back to court?
Because, well, we've had this discussion hundreds of times. Miss Terrell would not provide me an address of where she's staying at, with whom. She's done this whole dodgy, I don't want to tell you where I'm at. Genesis is coming back emaciated, school, doctors.
So I heard all that.
Yeah.
I heard that. But why did you tell her that? Just tell me, why did you tell her I'm going to go back? Why did you say we're going to go back to court? Did you say that because you wanted to resolve these issues?
Oh, of course. Yeah. We wanted to resolve
That's what I'm asking.
Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am.
What
I
was your
confused.
intention in telling her we're going to go back to court?
My
What was your
intention-
intention?
Yes, ma'am. Sorry. My intention was to get clarification as it pertains to our TPO that was in place. I wanted a final order. We had this back and forth with regards to who's going to make final decisions, where Genesis is going to live,
Okay.
child support,
Okay.
final say, etc.
And ma'am, is it a couple of questions? Is it true that Judge McCarthy said that he would do this hearing in conjunction with your evidentiary hearing on legal decision-making, parenting time, and child support?
Absolutely. He said he would hear it out, and he
And-
asked me if I wanted.
And did you say you did not want to do that?
I didn't. I was waiting for footage, but they didn't have it. So,
Okay, because you were waiting on additional evidence.
yes.
Okay. So, ma'am, you have the last 5 minutes. It's 3:09, so you have until 3:14.
Okay,
Go
thank you. So I guess I'm still confused as to why when you're asking him, why did he want to take me back to court, and why were the threats there? He said he was wanting to know about my whereabouts. Let me see if I can pull up the exhibit. The first threat had nothing to do with the address or anything in general. That alone was a violation that they said that I did, which I did not do. Completely stressed myself out over a parent-teacher conference that by the way, last week I went to another conference. It wasn't just for a showcase of trying to make me look good. I am finally back in Arizona where my son's at. So I did a IEP meeting literally last week. And I am in contact with this teacher now and OT and speech therapy. So this had nothing to do with an address. Also,
can I ask one question, and I
Yes.
won't deduct your time? Sir, did you go to a parent-teacher conference 4 days before you asked to go to the one that she was going to? Did you go to a parent-teacher conference?
We had a virtual.
Okay, so you had one.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then why did you ask to go to hers?
Because they were discussing other matters.
Did you tell her that you had had a parent-teacher conference already?
She was CC'd on the email from the teacher.
She was CC'd letting her know that you were going to a conference by yourself?
No, she's been CC'd on all emails to and from Ms. Collazo and I.
Meaning she knew,
Yeah.
in your opinion, she knew that you were going, that you told her you were going to a parent-teacher conference 4 days before you requested to go to the one with her.
Right, so let me clarify.
I just want to make sure.
Well, I had a hearing. I had a parent-teacher conference with my son's teacher.
Right?
Ms. Terrell was invited to it.
Okay.
She chose not to participate for whatever reason.
She was invited because she was on the email?
Correct.
So
She's
she
been
was on the
CC'd.
email that said you were having what? Having a parent-teacher conference. She was on that email.
Without looking at it, I can't give you an honest answer. So
Well,
I don't
then
believe
how
so.
do you know that she was invited? When you're telling me she was invited, how do you
Because
know?
I don't have evidence before us today. It's been tried, and this isn't, no
That's
offense,
okay.
ma'am, this is not a trial of our parenting decision or custody. So I wasn't bringing those documents to this hearing.
It's okay. I'm just asking you a question.
I do have proof from the teacher. If you'd like to pull up those exhibits, they're actually there in the record in our other filing, in our case where Ms. Collazo, his teacher, has testified, or excuse me, there's an exhibit from Ms. Collazo, an email, where she has stated that Ms. Terrell has been included in every and all communications.
Okay. Were you supposed to, this is important for my hearing.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay? I'm not relitigating McCarthy's hearing. Okay? Were you supposed to tell her that you had a parent-teacher conference? Were you supposed to tell her? Not the teacher. Were you supposed to tell her?
No, ma'am.
You're not required to tell her that you have a parent-teacher conference?
Oh, well, yeah. Well, everybody communicates.
Am I not making sense? My question to you is,
I guess I was kind of
are
confused.
you required to tell the mother of your child in common that you have a parent-teacher conference set
We're
up?
required to communicate any and all
Okay.
medical
Did you
and
do
school.
that?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you do that, or did the teacher do that?
I believe legal counsel did.
Okay. Okay. Ma'am, you can continue. You have about 3 more minutes.
Okay, thank you. I never received any email from his teacher, from my son's teacher, Andrew, or his counsel. So I took it upon myself to just invite myself. So I set up a parent-teacher conference, and then he was really upset. So that's basically what this was. So the threat for contempt of order, again, has nothing to do with he wanted to confirm where I was at. It had nothing to do with that. And most definitely, the second one here, I mean, she's letting me know I've already had my meeting with him. She's asking if I wanted to if she wanted the report in the backpack, or if she wanted to give it to him. Like I unfortunately didn't put the full thing in there, but I even told her, hey, whatever you give to me, give to him. Which she actually let me know that she did. So there was nothing different that we heard from the teacher. And then also, let me see. This other threat and harassment that put me literally in the hospital. It has nothing to do with he's saying he wants to know where I'm at, well, living wise. Now he
Just show
wanted
the
to know
message.
where I was at
Sir, she didn't interrupt you. What do you need?
Trying to read the message.
I'm sorry?
Looking at the exhibit, I couldn't see it. Sorry. Exhibit 9.
Go ahead, ma'am. You may finish up.
Thank you. He wanted to know where I was at for custody. Again, I already told him that, and I showed the email of me saying where I was going to be at. I don't just take my child and do a kidnap thing. I let him know every single time where I'm at, regardless if it's going to be one Airbnb at the time, as to what I was doing when I first came out here. So, there's no really concrete evidence and reason as to why he even threatened me again. Wanting to know, who my life partner was. It just got to the point where you said you asked him, did you want to resolve? And he was going back and forth and he just wanted to confirm where I was at. Well, why are you asking what's the name of my life partner? Why are you asking all these other questions? It just really stressed me out, and it's stressing me out again. It's to the point where, I've shown where I've been at with my child. That's not hidden. I'm not saying I'm just picking him up and just taking him anywhere. If I didn't have an Airbnb, I wouldn't have picked him up. I'm not going to put my child in jeopardy, but at the end of the day, specifically 2 and 3, I really, really want you to take a look at the reasoning as to why there's these harassments and threats. That's honestly what I'm wanting this to be focused on. A lot of it has nothing to do with court order, wanting to know who's under the same roof. That's not even in court order. Wanting to know who my life partner is, that's not in court order. Saying I'm in contempt of order by taking him to an Airbnb, he doesn't have an approval for me to even ask. So, all of this, and then having my blood pressure at 140/79 is my family was so extremely upset. Now,
So, ma'am, you're at the end of your time. I'm going to give you just a moment to finish up. You're at the end of your time. Go ahead.
So, thank you. For this, I guess I really didn't get a reasoning as to why. I'm not getting the reason why the threats really were. He said that, his exhibits kind of were non-irrelevant when it came to, harassment. That has nothing to do with the order. Again, you're going to decipher what's in or out, but if I can just wrap it up with 2 and 3, there was no really good reasoning for the harassment and threats.
Thank you. All right. The court finds that the plaintiff has not shown by a preponderance of the evidence that the order of protection needs to remain in place, and the court has dismissed the order of protection. You have family court orders in place. Make sure you both have copies of the most recent family court order from Judge McCarthy, and that you both are following that family court order. I have dismissed the order of protection, so that no longer applies in your matter. You both have a young child, okay, a 4-year-old. You need to make sure that you work together for the benefit of your child. Children do not do well in high conflict situations, okay? I know you both know that. I know you both love your child. You both can see and have parenting time with your child as long as you are both safe, okay? So make sure you work together. Follow these court orders for the benefit of your child. I'm going to let Judge McCarthy know that I have dismissed that order of protection.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, hold on a moment. Ma'am, you're going to go first, okay? I want you to exit. The hearing is over. We will no longer be talking about the matter. I'm going to have you leave the courtroom and you can exit the building. Please don't linger. Sir, when she's gone, you can go in the hall. I want you to wait for 5 minutes in the hall and then you can exit the building.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
we are in recess on this matter.